Hello, friends, and happy Advent. We are now officially at the beginning of the new year in the liturgical calendar of the church, which means we are preparing our hearts and minds for the arrival of the Christ child and the sign that the Savior of the world has indeed come. As we get ready for the Christmas season, we are all going to be working together at our church through the Gospel of Luke and looking at the Christmas story through the lens of that particular Gospel. And so each week on Sunday mornings, we will hear sermons preached out of the Gospel of Luke. I have provided devotional books for people that want to read. It's this book, Exploring Advent with Luke, by Father Timothy Clayton, who is an Anglican priest, and he wrote this book to help us explore 4 spiritual questions for growth. If you'd like a copy of the book, I still have some, and they are available from me. Just see me and ask for a copy, and I'll get you one. And all of our classes that are choosing to use this curriculum are also going to be talking about the themes that are found in this book. So it's not necessary for you to read the book to follow along with each class, but if you'd like additional devotional material, that is available as well. So Father Clayton approaches the Advent season through Luke, looking at 3 things particularly, and your facilitator today will guide you through these a little more and remind you of these, but they are, in the Gospel of Luke, he says that Luke composes a story that is designed to draw us in, one, through its compelling storytelling, but also through songs or canticles, and then also through questions. And so he poses 4 questions for us to think about throughout the Advent season, and actually suggests that they well up from within the stories themselves. So this week, we are going to start with the beginning of Luke, and it's going to start with the story of Zechariah, who is a Levitical priest, and he goes to the temple to perform some of his priestly duties, an honor that has been bestowed on him. And as he goes to the temple, expecting to do this priestly duty and to receive a message of God of some sorts, he is surprised to receive much closer encounter with the divine and a much deeper and astounding message than he could have ever imagined. He and his wife Elizabeth had been faithful for years and years, but had never been able to bear a child. And this was a point of great disappointment for Elizabeth. And it was something that he and Elizabeth had hoped for years and years, but it never happened. And then lo and behold, when Zechariah goes into the temple to perform his duties and to offer up the offering that he is supposed to put forward as part of his priestly duties, he is encountered by the angel Gabriel, who comes to him in that moment and informs him that there is a special message from God, and that message is that actually his wife will bear a child, and that child will be the herald to the Christ that is to come. And so here we are hearing about the birth of John the Baptist. And Zechariah is very astounded by all of this. And we hear that something very interesting happens to Zechariah as a result of his response to the angel. And then also we hear about just a little bit about what Elizabeth's response is to this and how she in turn responds and acts as she finds out what is about to happen. So you're going to dig more into this story today. You all will read through it. You can look for the things that stand out, for the important parts that you think are key to understanding this story and to getting us into the Christmas story. And then your facilitator will also provide some additional points of information that will help you dwell in this story a little more deeply. I hope that you enjoy this study and that this first lesson is an appropriate way to begin the Advent season. The main focus will be what it means to allow ourselves to open up to the presence of God here in this time. We know that we come to church and worship and say that God is in our midst, and sometimes, at the best of times, we may somehow believe that. But Clayton also suggests that a lot of times it's hard for us both to get really into the Christmas story and also to open ourselves fully to the presence of God and to what it might mean for God to actually be there with us in our lives, interacting with us, leading us, guiding us, sustaining us. So I hope that this first lesson gets you thinking about some of those things and begins to prepare your hearts and minds for this Advent season. I am excited to be walking this path with you, and I look forward to seeing you again in the weeks ahead. Many blessings this morning.